Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. Thank you for tuning in. I had to come on and talk about my Detroit Lions. They ended up losing, I believe it was 45-31 on Saturday at home as the one seed against the Washington Commanders. The first thing I want to say is kudos to the Commanders because they were terrific. You could say borderline flawless when it comes to offensively. I know they had the fourth down stop that the Lions had. It looked like it was just a miscommunication. Like Mariota didn't quite look like he was trying to get the first down himself. Like QB sneak looked like he was potentially looking to hand that ball off or just do something a little bit different, a little tricky, but ended up didn't work for him. I think they were either 3 of 5 on fourth down or something like that. I mean, they were terrific on fourth down, and Jaden Daniels, man, that young man played a heck of a game. He was terrific. It just seemed like everything that the Lions did defensively, he had an answer for, and they had an answer for as an offense, and it just made things tough for us. We were behind the eight ball a ton, but they were flawless in their execution. So wanted to make sure I give kudos there. On the Lion side of it, I mean, Amik Robertson is someone who has had a terrific season in his first year with the Lions. Obviously, with the Week 18 game against the Minnesota Vikings, he was terrific in his battle with Justin Jefferson. And the third play of the game, I believe, he ends up hurting himself. I think he broke his arm. It from what I saw, it looked pretty bad, and it just was defensively was all downhill from there. It seemed like we just couldn't get pressure, couldn't rush Jaden Daniels when we did blitz and bring pressure. They had an answer for it. The Terry McLaurin screen. I mean, they had a church formation, so three receivers to the left. The Lions initially had three defenders out there, and I believe Branch was kind of that overhang defender, and he ends up blitzing right when they are calling a screen. So now they throw the screen to McLaurin. Now we only have two out there instead of three, and they end up, we are awful tackling in space, and McLaurin, runs for a big 60-yard touchdown or something like that. It was that type of day. Um, Jared Goff, turned the ball over a bunch, um, interceptions. Just he just wasn't himself characteristically. He usually does a terrific job of taking care of the ball. He did have, I think, 12 interceptions on the year, but as we all know, a whole lot of those came against the Houston Texans game where I think he threw 5 picks, which was wild. But he just didn't have a great game. Even so, and even with that, I thought we had a chance to just put more pressure on Washington. And Ben Johnson, for as many positive things as he did for Detroit and our offense, and Jared Goff, and just in many offensive players, I don't understand why you're down 10 points, you have the ball. So even if you just kick a field goal, you're within 7 points, you're within one score. If you scored a touchdown, you're within three, where if the other team gets three, a touchdown will give you the lead. And you decide to go a reverse pass with Jameson Williams. Like, JMO has never thrown a pass this season. I saw a stat that he's never threw one in college. I mean, I just don't understand why you go there when I mean in a gotta have it moment. Like that's just not the time to bring that out. If JMO was a former quarterback and like his wide receivers coach, Antoine Randall, he played quarterback in college. So if that guy's throwing the ball, I could live with that. I could see that. But for JMO to throw it, and they I think they talked about it on the broadcast. It's like, yeah, you coach the guy up that if it's not there, then just to eat it and so on and so forth. But there's so much going on. I I just thought it was a poor play call, and it just goes back to my main criticism of Ben Johnson, which is when our offense is rolling and we're moving the ball, especially in the run game, especially when we are moving the ball on the ground, he loves to just dial up a pass play and a trick play and likes to get cute. And it puts us behind the sticks. And in many times when he is do or when he does do that, we are, we're winning the game or we end up winning the game. So it's not something that is highlighted, but he's got to get better than that in his endeavors with the Chicago Bears, because it was announced a couple hours ago that he is taking the Bears job. Good luck to him. I think he, like I said, did a lot of terrific things for the Lions. He's got a lot to work with in Chicago. I still am one who would be concerned about that front office because they have some weird dynamics going on there with your GM, Ryan Poles, who sounds like didn't really want Ben Johnson because he felt that Ben Johnson would want him out or a new GM. And then you have Kevin Warren, which what does he do? He's the team president, which those guys are usually more on the business side and not the football side. But it seems like he's on the football side, so it's really weird. So he's gonna have to overcome a bit of chaos to win at the highest level. I think he's gonna have to reteach Caleb some of the basics, some of the foundations, because he seems to be holding on to the ball a bunch and just not playing all that well. So we'll see what happens there. But for as poor of a game that Jared Goff had, I thought Ben Johnson had a worse one. I think Jahmyr Gibbs ended up with maybe 20 total touches. Excuse me. I think he only had about 14 carries in the game, which he should have had double that at least. I mean, we've seen him ever since David Montgomery got injured. Jahmyr Gibbs has been on a tear. He has been on a tear. I think he had 14 carries for 105 yards, something like that. No reason to not get the ball more. I don't understand it. Um, I think the toughest part with the Lions loss is as a fan, I had feeling the game would be tough, but no point in my mind did I ever think, oh, we're gonna lose the game. Like before the game started, it was just like, yeah, Lions we have to come out, gotta play well, gotta score a bunch of points. We have to, execute at a high level, so on and so forth, and we're gonna win the game. So the gut punch was like, wait a minute, we're getting ready to lose this game. So it's frustrating. On the plus side, they've got a lot coming back as far as talent on that team. A lot of the major guys are either on rookie deals still, or have already signed extensions. St. Brown signed an extension. Penei Sewell has signed his extension. Jared Goff has signed an extension. Branch, Gibbs, those guys are on rookie deals. Aiden still on a rookie deal. Branch on a rookie deal. So we've got guys who are, Laporta's on a rookie deal. So the core of the team is young. So I don't think that our window is closed. And I would like to think with as many injuries as we have this year, that next year it can't be this bad. You got Hutch, Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, Aleem McNeil, Rodriguez, Derek Barnes. Reader wasn't hurt. Who else was hurt defensively? I mean, it was nuts, with the amount of injuries. Anzalone was out for a while. He's been back the last two games. Even Terrion Arnold hurt himself in that Minnesota game, even though he came back in this one. I mean, it was wild, the amount of injuries, and I thought that because all of our injuries were focused on one side of the ball and it not being our strength, I thought that we would have enough offense to beat Washington, but was wrong there. So I think the Lions are 25 or 20, 24, 28, somewhere 24 through 28, I think, as far as draft position. So we'll see. I mean, it's kind of hard to just forecast like who's going to be there at 28. There's just so much left to happen with the combine, and a lot of things that come out with guys with medical and background and red flags and issues, things of that nature. So there's just a lot that's going to happen. Team interviews, those types of things. So a lot is gonna happen. Free agency is gonna happen, which traditionally Lions and Brad Holmes doesn't really make any big moves there. It's probably going to be kind of the value guys. I would imagine they're probably going to resign Marcus Davenport. He was on a very cheap deal, and he got hurt really early in the season, so we really didn't get to see what he, potentially had. But the flip side of that is he's a guy who usually gets hurt. So, what do you do there? So, um, the thing that I look at in the silver lining is Lions fans and people who have watched our team have wanted another defensive end to go along with Aiden, because we basically we put the entire lift of a pass rush on Aiden Hutchinson, and the trade for Z does that. So next year, having a full off season for Z, obviously Hutch is going to be still rehabbing and whatnot, but for Z, a full off season here, getting to know the teammates and just having another pass rusher opposite Aiden is going to be really big for us. So excited about that. I think we're pretty good in cap space. I think we're top 10 as far as available cap space. So got a lot of positives, even though the loss really stings and stinks. So that is it for me. I appreciate it. Peace.